Good morning guys and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan. Now in the last couple of videos we've spoken about the dangers of getting with a freelancer here in Thailand, and those stories have been based in Pattaya. And for the most part guys, getting with a freelancer, 9 times out of 10 you might be okay, but that 1 out of 10 is a big risk. And we've shared a couple of stories on getting with that 1 out of 10. Now, we're going to head over to Phuket, Thailand to talk about a story which is much more serious, guys. And it seems to happen a lot. I've been reading online about people being drugged and having things stolen. And over the years, guys, there has been quite a few stories about it. Now, this subscriber who sent in this story allegedly claims he was drugged, robbed, missed his flight, almost lost his job. So we've got it all going on in today's story. So ladies and gents, this story should just act as a warning to be a bit careful. Don't get too drunk, take care of yourself, and for the most part you'll be able to come to Thailand and go home and have good stories and good memories here. So without further ado guys, let's get in to today's story. Hiya Dan, I recently commented on a thread and you asked me to elaborate. I gave you the short story in a reply comment, but I thought I would email the whole shebang to you. So here goes. I flew into Phuket as a return visitor to Thailand. The first trip was benign in a way that I spent a week on a stopover to get some dental work done. I had a Swedish missus at the time. I was on my way from Australia to Sweden to live, as I couldn't live with myself if I soiled the relationship. Now on that trip I kept things pretty straight. I hit Soi Nana and Sukhumvit Road, but kept tame on my first visit. I stayed loyal to my girl in Sweden, as difficult as that was. A year or so later and my relationship in Sweden had ended. I arrived in Phuket on my way home and was still wounded by the recent breakup. Nothing too exciting on this trip, a couple of good short-time experiences and plenty of changovers. Now the third trip was much more eventful. I had just started a 4-on-1 roster offshore, a sought-after, hard-to-get gig that paid extremely well. First week off, I scored cheap tickets from Brisbane to Phuket for about 600 Aussie dollars return. Cheap as chips. I'm not too proud of this in any way. The whole trip time there was a blur. Plenty of obnoxious behaviour and just general mid-20s arseholery to be had. On the last night, it seems I paid the price for the previous debauchery. A couple of stunners approached me after dinner, I guess about 10 or 11 o'clock, and convinced me it was a good idea to take them back to my room. Yeah, right. I remember about an hour there, and the next thing I remember was the next day about midday time. I was flying out at 5 p.m. I gathered my things with a crazy headache, realising that I was down about 800 Australian dollars. Ah well, win some, lose some I thought. Rohypnol still blowing my mind. The only thing that was overpowering the Rohypnol was my adrenaline to get to the airport on time, and even that I was struggling to beat it. On the way out I paid the reception for another night as I had overstayed the checkout time. I then got in a cab and it was a familiar driver. Thank God for that. I had hired this same guy as my sole driver the previous trip to Phuket as well. The poor guy had plenty of chunder, spew, to clean off the outside of the door of his car by the time we got to the airport, so I gave him a 1,000 baht tip. I get to the airport just in time to get through customs and oh my god, I can't find my passport. I strip my bags and pockets and I'm sure they got that too. The gates get shut and I decide, well, F it. I gotta get online and seek the embassy address for an emergency passport. By this time, I figure my big money job is out of the window. If you blow a shift on your first roster time off, then you lose your job. So I open my MacBook and there she is, my passport. It was shut in the keyboard of my laptop. Bitter-sweet feeling right there. Well, it cost me 600 Aussie dollars return from Australia the get-go. But now I needed the next flight out of Phuket to keep my job. I had only 21 hours to get home. 2,100 Aussie dollars later, and I landed about 4 hours before the boat set sail to the job I was on. I kept my job, but holy crap did I work hard to get home in time. Now all you young fellas headed to Thailand to run amok, trust me, you will pay for your madness in one way or another. Respect the people and the place. One thing's for sure in Thailand, if you run riot, a riot will surely be run on you. Thanks, Dan. Right guys, well I hope you enjoyed the story. Now, it was only a short story guys, but it just goes to show you what can happen if you get too drunk and get too crazy. And when some random girls just approach you on the street, especially two of them, and offer you the night of a lifetime, and you accept, you know, it could go one way or another. And unfortunately for this Australian man, it went the wrong way. He only remembered an hour when he got back to his room, and then literally he woke up the next day in the afternoon and realised that 800 Australian dollars had gone. He thought his passport had been stolen also. He didn't have any time to mess about. He stated allegedly that he still felt the effect of the Rohypnol, like he'd been drugged. And he had to literally just shake it off and rush around and get his stuff sorted so he didn't miss his flight. And then in the end, he finally missed it. And luckily, his passport was inside his laptop. So it cost him a hell of a lot of money to get it sorted so he didn't lose his job. Because he did land a very, very highly paid job, which I know a lot of people are after. Now guys, you've got to understand that for most of us that come to Thailand on a holiday, you will have a great time, you'll have some great stories to share, and you'll have memories that will probably last a lifetime. So for most of us, we have very, very good experiences when coming on holiday to Thailand. But then, for the few, guys, bad things can happen, as we've stated in a few stories over the last few days. So just be careful. You need to be a little bit streetwise here in Thailand, and just make sure you don't get involved with the wrong type of women. Don't get too drunk, so you can keep your wits about you, because at the end of the day, you don't want something to happen to you like what happened to this guy in the story. Now guys, if you've got your own Thailand related story that you'd wish to share on the channel for everyone to listen to, then please get your email sent in to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com and we can share your story with everyone. Guys, put your comments down below, give other people advice if you can also, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. This has been Thai Talk with Dan. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, have good times, have good memories, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.